Yeah.
Really stealing the crowd there, Billy.
So I've been watching this documentary, Unnatural, on Netflix.
Unnatural.
It's called Unnatural Selection.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
It's about gene editing.
Yeah.
And I knew there was gene editing out there. I never knew how in depth and how actually, how useful and how real, how do you say it? how advanced we are.
Yeah.
There you go. That took a long way to get there, but we got there. Jesus. And yeah, dude, it's nuts. There's like guys there's a guy out there who's creating these home kits. Like you can basically order it for like $140 and you can
American.
Well, yeah, sure. But it's not like thousands and thousands of dollars to do. You can do home genetic engineering to yourself.
To what degree?
Like I think a big one right now, I'm pretty sure, is you can make things glow. Like you can make things fluorescent. They've made like fluorescent rats. Yeah. They made like rats that glow in the dark. They've made fluorescent beer. I don't know if you can do it to yourself. I think it's like you would have to do a series of injections, like in order to fully change your genome. You would have to do multiple things, right?
I'm trying to think of to what point can they do it now? What make things glow? But not even humans, but nothing to humans. Humans can't buy this.
In terms of bioluminescence, like what fireflies can do.
Yes,
you can make other things do.
No, what I'm saying is, but I can't go on a website and spend $150.
I know. I don't know if
and now have a glowing hand.
You have to do the experiments by yourself and follow the steps and then inject yourself. It's like a whole. I don't know. It's just basically like the biggest one. It's not necessarily about how they do it. I think it's more. They're talking about more the cultural implications of it. So like the first episode I just started episode 2. The second episode's about the price. Man, some of these. So this is one kid on there, right? And he's got like something that makes him blind, right? And he's gonna like basically progressively go. He's going to progressively lose more and more of his eyesight. Yep. And now there's this a gene experiment or like process, or I don't know what do you call it. There's like what's the word I'm looking for? Why can't I think of it? Well, procedure. Yeah. There you go. Jesus Christ, dude. It took all my effort to get this fucking thing working. Yeah. Now I can't think.
I can't think at all. 45 minutes.
Yeah, you're right.
But, 45 minutes.
But they can basically make him be able to see again.
Jeez.
Possibly, right? So, but the price of it is like $875,000. It's so fucked how expensive those.
Holy.
Yeah, and there's one that can help this guy. He has no function of his body. He can basically, all he does is lie down all day because he's like kind of like his arms are a little bit deformed and he can't move. He can barely speak, and it's just like a genetic thing, right? And they can fix that, but I think it's like the first one's $750,000, like for the first year, and then $375,000 every year for maintenance forever. $375,000 a year. So like the whole whatever. That's the whole second episode. The first one's all about.
But here's the thing, isn't it a good thing that it's not expensive?
Why? Don't you want people who have?
No, but it's like, do you think that should just be readily available to everybody?
No, not just affordable.
That's what I mean, readily available. Like cars are, new cars are, they're not affordable, but they're readily available. You can go,
Sure.
I don't know, man. I think the idea of just having it where someone can spend $5,000 and they just have this mutation now.
No, it's to cure sicknesses and illnesses.
No, that's not what I mean.
Genetic disorders
on the market. That's what I'm saying.
Are you talking about the home kits that you can just do?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I thought you were talking about should procedures that can,
the healthcare be less
change
expensive?
People's lives be readily available? Like should a little 5-year-old or whatever be able to see? He can't see.
Here's the thing.
And he wants to be an astronaut.
How do you value
warms your heart.
surgeries?
What's that?
How do you value
They
surgeries?
there's a it's not so it's there's a guy there's a I forget the group name, but there's a group that works towards trying to, I guess, lobby or advocate ways to get the prices for things lower. And so a lot of these pharmaceutical research is what do you call it? I can't think of these words today. Jesus Christ. A lot of these
Pharmaceutical companies?
research labs, like to fund the research for it.
Yeah.
It's funded by the NIH, and I think that's like the National Institute of something. I forget. It's like a
National Institute of Technology.
NIH.
Oh.
I forget what it's called. Let's look it up real quick. But it's basically they're funded through, they fund initiatives through taxpayer money. National Institute of Health, obviously, duh. But a lot of this shit,
I can't believe we didn't guess.
I know. A lot of this shit is it's funded by the NIH, which is funded by taxpayer money, and they decide, but then pharmaceutical companies are the ones that are putting the resources towards it. Mm-hmm. So they're not really funding it. It's like taxpayer money that's being funded, and then they've said it's. I think I don't know if it was like the CEO. I think it was the CEO of a certain company, of a certain pharmaceutical company. He said, we don't price based on what it costs to do the research and development. We price on what it's worth to people. Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, when it comes to vaccines or when it comes to anything really, because like what it's that can save people's lives, you can. I don't think you shouldn't be able to profit, but that much per person. $875,000 for one like middle class family. Mm-hmm. That's insane, right? That's more than they make in 10 years. Mm-hmm. And apparently they were giving examples like when the guy who created the polio vaccine, when he invented it, he didn't patent it or sold the patent or like basically gave it up for free source because he's like it would be like patenting the sun. You know what I mean? It's like everybody deserves it. And then the guys who, what was another one? It was three people. The people who invented penicillin or discovered penicillin, they sold their patents each for $1 or something like that, because it's like
very noble of them.
But I mean, there's certain. I mean, I guess it is noble, but I don't think that you should be able to profit. I don't think there's anything wrong with profiting off your discovery. It's just you should want people to.
Isn't that a weird thing to think about though?
What?
It's like, I found this first, therefore it's mine.
Yeah, it's like it's a human thing, right? We collect to.
But isn't it? It's weird that that's just like adults just go, dude. Finders keepers,
losers weepers,
dude,
buddy.
Think about that. Finders keepers. That idea is literally.
That's the world. That's the world we live in. But
isn't that crazy?
We teach our children to not do stuff like that.
No, it's like no. A funny thing is, no. What I was thinking about was, that idea of the character, like in like shows or whatever, who would say that. So, kids,
yeah,
it would always be the mean kid. You know what I mean?
Who says finders keepers?
Yeah, finders keepers, losers weepers.
You reminded me of Randall from.
That's what I mean. Well, I wasn't trying to do that, but
you also kind of look like Randall.
Well, that's disrespectful on so many levels. I don't have a hunchback. I don't look like a what are those fucking things called? The turtles from Mario Bros. The Koopas. Okay. Mm-hmm. I don't have a red, really tight curly hair. And I'm also not a bitch. All right.
How did I get to?
Oh, the finders keepers.
Right.
Yeah, I just think it's funny how
finders keepers.
Yeah, that's literally what everything is. Like was at one point, right?
Like in terms of land
inventing or discovering, just discovering something. Like inventing something is like I did stuff to make something, right?
Yeah.
Discovery is just I found stuff.
It's mine.
Yeah. Isn't that weird?
But I mean, it kind of I think it's a way to keep the world in order, to keep things about like there's laws in places for property so that people don't fight over things. It's not necessarily to. I don't know if it's to encourage to go out and gather as much as you can. I don't think that's the motive. It's more just to say like, if you have it, it's yours. Your neighbor can't take that away from you. You've earned it or you've done whatever.
Nice.
Yeah.
So whatever. I thought those.
But in terms of things that are going to benefit all of mankind, right? Mm-hmm. That's something you'd want people to be able to to do, right? To be able to attain, right? To even if it was like $10,000, $20,000, you know, something 50 grand, I don't know, something that's like that's a shit ton of money, but it's like that'd be like going to like a billionaire and being, yeah, it needs to be $15 quadrillion. Sorry, you don't have the money. You know what I mean? Something just astronomical. You're like, that's something that's a thing. I don't know. I just found it. But anyways, why I brought this up was because the first episode was really interesting because they were talking about the ethics of genetic engineering, and whether or not there should be government oversight when it comes to who can have access and who should be able to benefit from it. Is it ethically good? Is it like ethically or morally, yeah, good, I guess? Or like,
so are you saying it? Do they want to make it like alcohol, or do they want to wear?
Well, like basically, the government thinks that it could be dangerous for people because say one experiment that they do, that one of the guys does. I think he's like the leading guy in trying to change species. I think to like basically alter the entire species, like essentially
Evolution.
Well, see, I don't know. Basically, the experiment he wants to do is that they want. I think was it frogs or some kind of like small kind of rodent thing. If they
frog is not a rodent.
Okay, well, a small animal. I don't know. I can't remember if it was a frog or a rat or a chipmunk or whatever.
Someone live their life thinking a frog's a rodent.
I'm just small rodent like
frog.
Not because reptiles.
And the reptiles not. So
a small animal. Okay. Jesus
reptiles
Christ.
and mammals.
A small quadruped. How's that?
Jeez. Okay.
All right, and they want to engineer one to. So, this is what it was for Lyme disease to see if they could eradicate Lyme disease by making it so that certain animals can't, these little tiny things, when they get bitten, it kills the fleas, right? That's the fleas that do Lyme.
Yeah.
When they bite, it's like I think they die after they bite them.
Ticks? No, it's ticks.
Is it ticks? Yeah, you're right. I think it's ticks. Okay. So if you release a certain amount into the population, they'll procreate, and I guess I don't know if they can make it or they just hope that it's hereditary.
Oh yeah, so they don't just keep going around to animal to animal. It's
right.
one for one.
Right. So it basically kills off all the ticks. If they breed and they have more kids, and you know, in like 5 to 10 years, right?
That makes sense.
Eventually, all the ticks will be killed off.
They're trying to go down to the lowest level right above it.
Yeah.
And then have that.
It's like
get rid of
if you do 10 rats or whatever and release them, they'll create
they won't
100 rats, right? And then they'll create 1,000 rats or whatever, 10,000 rats.
That makes sense.
And then the ticks will die. But I mean, and the
kind of fucked though.
It's kind of fucked because you're altering an entire ecosystem, right? And one of the arguments is that, well, we've been doing that anyways. Why not do it for a good reason, right? We've been altering the ecosystem to put up buildings or create certain man-made things in order to progress our society, which is fine. Shit needs to happen sometimes to the...
That also makes sense, right? We put a dam somewhere so we can have a
right,
town or something somewhere, and you destroy the whole ecosystem. And you make animals change something about them to be able to live in that area. So what's it that by accident and without any sort of control? Why not just have it be under control?
Right.
Now I think that's where the question goes. Was that control morally okay?
Right. Because I think the hope from that research project is that they can extrapolate that into bigger things, like it, you know, for whatever, to essentially genetically enhance us as a species overall. Because I think it's the main thing that he's doing is what if you did it to one, how would it affect the entire species in terms of procreation? Right. So I guess if you do that with a few people, they procreate over time, and then eventually people are evolving, right? So but there's advocate groups that say, oh no, this is unethical, we can't do this, we shouldn't be able to do this. And then there's the governmental problem of them saying, you know, it's dangerous, we need government oversight, we should be the ones to administer who gets to have it. So but the argument against that, there's this one guy who is all about home kits, and like he basically wants to give it to the masses, and it's like his whole argument is how can you own science, right? Like who's to say, if it's the whole liberty thing, right? If you want to experiment on yourself, if you want to put a tattoo on yourself, if you want to modify your body, if you want to take drugs, right, you should have that.
So the people who are in control of that are the people who are selling that product. The doctors who perform these things should be in control of how much it costs, because you're paying for their labor.
But no, the idea is that you give it to like people do it at home. There's like
Yeah,
you
so
don't,
whoever, so the person who created it gets a royalty from it.
yeah,
That's it. And the person who creates it,
yeah,
decides how much it costs.
for sure. But do you think that the government should be able to decide
To tell that person how much it should cost?
Well, no. For regulation, should genetic home engineering kits be available to people just to buy like on eBay or to buy from an online website, right? The argument for that is to say
like yes, but it would be very expensive.
Yeah, I mean,
I think yes, but it's up to however much they want to pay
for sure.
for it.
Yeah. Let the market set itself for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, if they get super popular, they'll be more expensive.
Yeah.
Right now, they're $150. In 20 years, when it becomes a fad, maybe people just it's like rather like the way tattoos are a fad or the way body modification is now. It's going to be genetic modification. You know,
Yeah.
if you don't have, it's like
Maybe.
so maybe it'll be $2,000 a pop or $1,300 a pop or whatever it is. That's fine. Let the market set itself. But I mean, I look at it. I kind of feel that way. I can see why
I still think it's kind of fucked.
it is kind of weird. It's in a sign.
Are you cheating? Is that the question?
Yeah, that is the thing. It's like because one of the guys on there mentioned he's like it's we don't have a problem correcting people. Like for example, vision, right? You have your nearsighted, your farsighted to use glasses to correct your vision, but back to a level that is the same amongst all people, right? Whereas but for whatever reason, we're afraid to give people eyesight. Like if we could somehow put on binocular sight, was his example.
Yeah.
Now we can see like an eagle. How like there's some kind of weird thing to allow people to selectively put themselves in a more advanced or a more evolved situation compared to others, right? Like steroids, for example, right?
Well, I guess what I would.
So it's like I
think
see both sides, but it's
with
like
the genetic modifications, you got to think about it too. That the people who don't want it available are the rich, and the people who do want it available are the poor and the middle class.
yeah,
Because
usually.
if you make it so it's available to everybody, the price will go down.
Yeah, but if you create demand, the price will go up.
Yes, but rich people don't care because
Right.
they can pay for it if it's high or low price, doesn't matter.
They want
it so they're only the ones able to use it.
right. They want regulation.
I'm assuming this. I'm not even assuming it. It's one of those things where on the individual basis, it will be different. Obviously, I'm not saying every fucking rich person thinks this way,
Yeah.
but the idea is that would be smarter for them to want that. You know what I mean?
It would be smarter for the rich to want
Only have the rich to.
Of course. I mean, if you're already the 1% or the 0.01%, whatever, right? Then you want to remain that. If all of a sudden the middle class are starting to be able to sprint faster than Usain Bolt or, jump higher than a kangaroo or can see farther than an eagle, right? Like if you start doing that, people can advance themselves in other ways and the wealth gap, like they can do more things, right? Demand more money as a result, right? Overall it maybe brings everything, but couldn't even kill. It's just, it is funny. There is that pattern, right?
No, I'm not saying I think this is the case.
I think you're right.
I don't know if I'm right, and I'm not trying to be right. I'm just trying to bring up a thought.
Right. No. What I'm saying is I agree with your thought. That's probably the case. I could definitely see that because it's
more profitable for them.
Yeah, but it's also I think
when I say the rich, I just mean the people who are able to afford something like that.
For sure. But I think it's also often it is the rich, but it's like the politicians, right? They want that for some reason. They have like it's just a weird quality that people have, right? Like when you have this power, you almost don't want to allow those on a lower scale, on the hierarchy, to allow to reach an even playing field, right? Because it's not only the rich, but it's the ones in power.
But it's not an evil. I mean,
I didn't say anything about being evil.
No, not evil. No. I said evil. I was gonna say even, but I'm swallowing at the same time.
Swallowing, eh? You like that?
No, but yeah, I don't know. I also don't think. I think just for like safety purposes too.
Yeah.
Because you could really fuck somebody up like that.
Well, I mean,
Like imagine we get to the point where it's a one-shot dose.
yeah. I mean,
That's unbelievably dangerous.
it's like the Matrix when
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves goes, "I know kung fu,"
Yeah.
right?
But imagine it being like stuff like bad stuff. You can start making like crippled legs. You go around, you fucking stab somebody, you can give it to them that. Now they have crippled legs.
Oh, you're saying like
Yeah.
like people using it, but that's gonna be anything. If it's like
No, if you don't make it available,
like just random people
without-
just forcing genetic modification on others.
Sure.
I mean, yeah, but
what I
there's
mean.
knives available.
It's
You
just-
can stab someone.
No, for sure. But there's a difference between, like, let's say, how do I put this? I guess it's more life altering. Because you're not killing the person necessarily, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's if you can look for an argument, it's I guess that's the extreme. But I think again, it's the rule. There's a rule, and that might be one of the exceptions, right? Same thing with guns, right? I mean, obviously, it's a back and forth thing, but
No, but I'm saying you would have to make it like that.
yeah,
There
Well,
would
yeah,
be some not
there-
a regulation,
there would
but
have to-
there would be
laws.
yes,
There should be. Yeah, I think maybe there
Yes.
should be laws about.
yes, like you need to be 25 and older.
Yeah.
To use
Yeah,
it.
like a certain amount. I mean, unless it's unless it's
Maybe
for
not
medical
25.
medical purposes, right?
But it would be like. But here's another thing though. It's like now, at what point can you start making a decision? You know what I mean? Like what, 16? So your parents can genetically modify you until you're 16. You know what I mean? Right from your birth.
yeah.
So you're fucking 3. You say I want to be a fucking dinosaur. You fucking give a thing you're a dinosaur now. You know what I
Imagine
mean?
you can actually turn into a dinosaur.
Maybe, but here it's the thing is like it shouldn't be. It's a weird thing to even try to get into
but
like legal aspects of it, right?
Right. Is it weird because it's just something that us as a species aren't used to?
No, I'm saying weird as in I'm using the word weird to mean complicated.
Oh yeah.
It's
fair.
weird. Like it's like to try to get. It takes a lot of thinking to get down into the area of finalizing something like that,
Right.
especially if you make it for the public.
Yeah.
It's easier to make it say doctors will prescribe
Yeah. But I
and
think
use it not for cosmetic things, because I think you should 100% pay for cosmetics.
yeah. Again, I'm not saying that it should be free to everyone to use. There
So
should be a price.
binocular vision,
Yeah.
you could argue it's not a necessity. You don't need that.
No. Yeah. Yeah. So
So you would have to pay for it.
Of course. I think I think that makes more sense because again, it regulates it and doesn't just give everyone free
So this
will.
home
to
kit, how the home kits would work. The doctor would prescribe it to you.
Well, no. I think you should.
You can't just go on a website and fucking
You
buy
should be
it.
able to order, but it should be like $2,000, $3,000. You know what I mean? So it's not like you can buy just 50 of them and just load them up, right? I mean, I'm sure there's also other health
But
complications.
why
with
couldn't
doing-
it just be like getting surgeries or getting a
because
prescription?
the idea
it's like literally getting a prescription.
yeah, I guess if you compare it to drugs, right?
Well, not even just drugs. What I'm saying is like the idea of like the people that are involved are the same. That's how it should be. You're trying to genetically modify your body, so you need a doctor's opinion
yeah,
of whatever.
yeah,
Especially if you're talking about genetically modifying things for the better beyond human capability. That's
Right.
completely cosmetic. So you would go to cosmetic.
What if us selectively choosing traits to advance on is the way our species evolves? The same way people.
No, I feel like no. What I'm saying is, it's like if
know?
someone needs to get a nose job, someone who wants to get a
No,
nose job.
but I'm talking about advancing, like being able to run faster, jump higher, right? Jump longer. I don't know, right? Just be stronger, lift more, right? Be just literally.
But then you're not talking about the species. You're talking about a genetically modified species. So is that cheating?
Is it cheating? I think the hope is that everybody eventually, like in 1,000 years, it will just be part of our DNA.
I think it's worse
to
than
just-
cheating. I mean, worse than steroids. I would say.
Really?
Yeah.
See, to me, I don't know, like.
Because steroids isn't, again, it's not changing your genetics. It's maximizing your genetics. It's what your
Yeah,
body.
that's true.
It's what your body can physically handle and do. That's
It's-
why they die so early.
Sure. I mean, if you look at the function that it does, like it does,
Yes.
yeah.
it makes you go to 100%.
For sure, but it technically makes you go past 100 because a big problem is that hearts get too big and you have heart problems, right?
No, but you know what
I'm saying,
human
like,
growth hormone, whatever, right?
it pushes you past your genetic potential, right? Because your body has a genetic.
No, because see, here's the thing. I think we're talking about it before. I don't think that's the right statement to make, because your genetic potential is the best you can do when pushed to the limit. The only reason why you get better and bigger and stronger is because you're pushing your. It's pretty much just your stamina, your muscle stamina, correct?
Yeah,
and then its ability to recover, right? It's not like it's making it so your muscles are. Can grow bigger. There's also a limit. You can only hit to a certain point.
For sure, yeah, 100%. But regardless, it's still your genetic potential. I don't think is what you can do with all of your hormones just jacked up to the limit, right? Because it's you're increasing.
I think you were born with that potential. Is what I'm saying.
No, I don't think
because that's why everybody who does steroids doesn't necessarily go to the Mr. Olympia.
Right. People can utilize. People might have more of an affinity towards steroids than others, for sure, because of certain genetic makeups. But often those people are still people that would be probably above the average in terms of muscle strength and muscle size.
So let me see what you're saying. You're saying that without steroids, we're working with 100% somebody who's natural, say a natural bodybuilder. Uh-huh. They're working with 100% of their potential. When they take steroids, they go to 120%.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, I'm seeing it like when you're natural, you're only able to use 80% of your potential, and that 20% is what you get from the steroids.
Right, but if that was but again, it's like your body genetically makes a certain amount of hormones based on whatever your unique genetic makeup, your size, your weight, whatever. There's a certain way your body secretes hormones and neurotransmitters and all that, right? So if it's for a reason, so you don't get too big, not too small. It's like, so you have this certain leeway that you can enter, right? I don't think the human body was ever meant to be that big, the size of Phil Heath. Mm-hmm. Right? No, the body, there was no genetic reasoning for that to be like of that size, right? It was about functionality, right? So you can manipulate functionality and turn it into
okay, so but I'm talking about potential.
Right. I guess if you're saying what you're human, but again, then why
because everybody's different, that's why.
Everybody's different, but what I'm saying is why like you're still pushing past what you can do without any exogenous sources. What's the difference between actually accessing your genetic code versus increasing a certain thing that's secreted based on your genetic code? Do you know what I mean? Like you're with steroids, you're changing the thing that's being stimulated by your genetics, right? Like if you like somehow put like leg extensions in, right, and you grew taller, you're making yourself I don't know, that's obviously a stupid example.
No, but people do that, yeah.
I know, right? But like
you break the bone in your feet, in your shin,
right? Like if you were to open up your genetic code, you would read should be, like for me, should be 5'8". You would also see secretes this much testosterone, right? You're still, so rather than change what the code says, you're changing what you're lying. You're basically making the code lie.
Yeah. I think it's a little bit worse because you're still a human being at that point.
Yeah,
with steroids,
you'd still be a human being. With you would have the same amount of pairs of chromosomes and everything.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does.
No, but you wouldn't have things to like. Imagine if you have anything where you didn't have to breathe oxygen.
But like, even if you're not a human being, you're the next step of evolution.
Yeah, that's fine. That's all I'm saying. People who do steroids aren't the next step of evolution.
No, because what they're doing to their bodies is permanent. It's not something that's hereditary. You can't pass down steroid use, right? You're not changing what the script says. You're changing.
I guess it's another thing too with genetic modifications. You would.
Yeah, you're actually, rather than saying like rather than making X equals Y, you're making X equals Z.
Yeah.
Right. As opposed to if you change your genetic code, instead of making X equal Y, you're making Y equal Z. You know what I mean? You're changing the first.
Yeah. That's why I think that's the point for me.
Yeah. I agree with that for sure.
That's why I think it's worse.
It's worse, but I don't think you should. Again, it's like. Again, maybe there is some regulation. Maybe it is.
And it would still be unbelievably expensive.
It should be expensive. I don't think it should be just like
anybody could get it.
Yeah, like I think it's like I think it should be the same thing as tattoos, right? The same way. Look, you see.
Do you think they should take a cognitive test before they're able to get it?
You can change your cognitive abilities.
It's true.
You know, like I think it should be tattoos, right? If you go to the best tattoo shops, right, they're really expensive. They're like
unfucking believably expensive.
Right. Like, but so usually more people with more money can afford those, but they also get better work, right?
Yep.
So it's like it's kind of worth it, right? You often see people like but it's not that, it doesn't mean that having tattoos there's a disparity between the rich and the poor, right? Not necessarily, right? Sometimes it can change in quality, but then you get the same kind of genetic quality,
but
right?
we're talking about hundreds to thousands to hundreds of thousands to millions. That's the difference we're talking about.
You're talking in terms of
Tattoos are hundreds
Right.
of dollars to thousands of dollars.
That's what I'm saying.
And comparing that to hundreds of thousands of dollars and millions of dollars
I think
is a
it
big
should be-
difference.
I know, but I don't think it should be hundreds, thousands to millions. Like that's the rate. Thousands of dollars to millions of dollars. I don't think that's necessarily
Again, I think it should just be totally up to the doctor that's doing it.
But how can a doctor prescribe a selective, like, I guess if you look at it like plastic
know.
surgery,
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what it would be like.
like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was getting at. Dude, I've been saying that since the beginning, bro.
But you didn't say anything about plastic surgery.
Yeah, I said it would be cosmetic. Cosmetic.
You said that, you didn't.
Cosmetic
you should have
surgery,
specified, dude.
Dude, cosmetic surgery is plastic surgery.
I'm thinking like a family doctor. You have to go to get a prescription,
No,
like,
man.
like drugs.
No,
or
I'm saying
something.
it's like cosmetic surgery in the sense that it's not something you need, so you should pay for it. And the people who determine
But-
how much you pay for it are the doctors performing it. That's what I was saying.
right.
The doctors should be 100%. It's their labor. They should be able to charge however much they fucking want.
But if you could find a technology that was, for example, in plastic surgery, because you have to actually
just
open,
because it takes you $5 to make something doesn't mean you have to sell for 10.
No, I understand.
You know
What I was going to say was that if there was some kind of new technology that could make your, so for plastic surgery, right? You have to actually do a surgery. You have to open up the body, put something in, and sew it back up. Like there's a whole sterile process that's involved, right? I would say there's more risk to a plastic surgery than a simple injection. Like you're mixing some shit.
No, 100%. But here's
Right.
the thing: the person who prescribes that
But hang on.
is the same.
If there was a new technology that was proven to be safe and you could do plastic surgery from home, like it was just like you like took a pill or you did a little injection and like it tells you, little kid, inject in this certain spot, pre-packed syringe, you pop it in there, and next day you have a huge ass. You know what I mean? And it's perfectly safe. It's been tried and true for 10 years and it's there. Like that to me would be a reasonable technology to do. Like it would be, again, it would probably be thousands of dollars to buy one of those little syringes. But I think it's because that you need a specialty, you need special
Yeah, but
skills.
how do you know which pill would work for you?
Right, and that would be. I mean, there's probably like
Because it's yours, even though it's been tested for 10 years.
you'd probably be recommended.
Each individual person has individual genome. Which
right,
is what you're
right.
affecting,
but
right?
I don't think that means you couldn't see a doctor before doing something. You
That's what
couldn't
I'm
get
saying.
a lot of
And that's the person who you would pay.
But do you think you should get a prescription though?
It's like a prescription.
Like, but don't you like? But it's elective, right? Why would you need the doctor's permission to get plastic surgery?
No, you're asking what's the best option.
Yeah.
You don't have to. You don't. When you go to a plastic surgeon, you don't go. I think I should get this. What do you think? They're not gonna go. Yeah, you should. You go. I want to get a nose job. And they go. Okay, let's see what we can do. Take this test. This. Yes, you're able to get a nose job.
I think that's just like a health test. I don't think
Yes.
I don't think people would be like, oh yeah,
you have to be able to pay for it.
Yeah, pay, of course.
Yeah.
I'm not saying pay for it. So you're saying that now doctors, like if you want to get something, there's no way a doctor could say, no, you can't have this because of this reason. Right? Because a plastic surgeon wouldn't say that. Some people might take to a nose job better than others. Some people might have a better result. Some people might.
Okay.
Right?
I think the person who should be able in charge of that decision is the same person that is you with health now.
Health.
So like when you're a kid,
Uh-huh.
from like whenever you're a certain age, your parents are able to yes or no it, and then once you're after that, once you're in control,
once you're 18,
you should be able to get it. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I'm not,
Yeah.
dude. I would say,
But if somebody you went to go see somebody and they said you're like, oh, I want to get a fin down my back, and the doctor's like, I don't feel comfortable.
But what if that's something they want?
Then you go to another doctor.
Right. You think?
Yeah.
I
Like
think
if you go to a plastic surgeon, you go, I want a foot coming out of my head. They're gonna go, no, man, I'm not gonna do that for you.
They probably won't. They probably won't have something where you can say, I want this. All right, here you go. Let's make it. They probably will have things that they can do, and they'd be like, here's a list of things we can do, right? So what if a doctor pick and chose what they were comfortable putting in their catalog. Let's say.
Yes,
you have a list, right?
That's
so
that's just the plastic surgeon. That's what I'm saying.
Right,
yes.
right. So I can
or tattoo
do,
artists, literally.
I can make you do this, this, and this, but I can't. I don't want to make people do these three things.
Yes.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah. And then, but again, my whole thing is that I think that's important, and you should maybe go through a health test to make sure.
Oh, so you're saying, but just how it's like available to everybody. That's how the genetic testing should.
I'm saying nobody should be like, it's the same way I feel about drugs, right? Nobody should say you are not allowed to put this in your body. You can't have this in your possession because we don't want you to put it in your body.
Even
right?
if something harmful.
Even if it's something harmful, if someone wants to drink bleach, it's their right to do so, right? I mean, it's not.
I don't know if I feel that. I don't know if I feel that way. That's just like you saying, nah, yeah, it's okay if somebody wants to kill themselves. That means you would watch somebody. If you came up to somebody trying to kill themselves, you would save them.
No, it's the same way.
Would you save them?
It's the same thing with heroin, right? If you have a relative that's doing hard drugs, you try to save them by bringing them to rehab, try to help them.
Yes,
but it's their choice to do that if they want to. You can't. I don't think you should be able to put them in jail or criminally charge them for something that they've chosen to do to themselves. For sure, people do stupid things to themselves all the time.
Yeah, I know.
So but I don't necessarily think it should be the law. If someone's trying to kill themselves, I don't know that you can. If they fail, I don't think you should be able to. You should criminally charge them for attempted suicide, right? Like, but at the same time, you should say if you can somehow stop someone from killing themselves, that'd be a great thing, right?
I don't know, man. I think I think this is a little bit different, but I don't know. I still don't think it's okay to be like, we're gonna have. It's like you're gonna ask doctors to be able to prescribe heroin because the patient asks for it. That's not the case.
No, but you're gonna get it anyways, right?
Yeah, but that's not what we're talking about.
I'm just saying, I don't think you should. Maybe again, criminal. Let's say
I'm telling you right now. Like, for example, it's like it's the same thing. Like, it's literally like plastic surgery. You can't. You're gonna be hard pressed to be able to go on the street and buy some and pay for it.
Oh, dude, you'd be surprised.
Listen.
Heard stories.
I'm not saying like it's not possible, but I'm saying it would be difficult.
Dude, if you could, like, there's been multiple cases where people have died as a result of botched.
that's just legal anyway. You have to have a certain level of,
you need a license, yeah.
Yes, and you also.
But again, administering, right? Like being able,
Yes.
like the fact, like maybe you shouldn't be able to administer it to yourself for safety reasons. You know, it's like in terms of the genetic engineering thing. It's like,
yeah, of course. What if you do it and then you have a heart attack?
I think maybe there should be like a pre-screening test where you test blood pressure and any sort of health.
Yeah, but what's the point? Why not just do it? Why not just do it at the hospital or at the surgeon or at the doctor's place?
I don't disagree with
or the scientist. Sorry, it would be a scientist.
Sure,
doctor,
like some kind of clinician of some sort that specializes in that, like a genetic testing lab.
Yes,
right, for sure. I'm not saying.
And you keep it there and you make it mandatory to be there for safety purposes.
My whole thing is that you shouldn't put roadblocks in front of people that are political or are overly monetary to the point where it's like, if it's like $5 million.
No, but I think. Oh no, I mean, but again, it's up to the person who's doing it.
Sure.
Because they have to buy, and whoever, if it's a little pill or whatever, how much that person's telling you to sell the pill. I can't tell this person that's too much.
Well,
I'm going to make us sell it for us less.
I don't know if you should make it, but again, if it's like a cosmetic thing, okay. If it's a little over what you would have hoped to be, that's fine. But if it's life saving, to me, that's like completely unethical to charge something like something outside of middle class.
No, I think it would be like it would be part of your health insurance.
Covers
it would be under a catastrophe.
A lot of these things aren't covered by health insurance. These elective surgeries that are genetically like that.
No. But I'm talking about life threatening. If it's life threatening.
Okay, yeah, life threatening but you don't think even like someone who can cure blindness. You think it's okay if someone charges $1 million, but it's mostly middle class families who have that. Mm-hmm. To me, I don't think they're breaking any laws.
Yeah, but it's like that's just surgery going. You charge way too much. Poor people can't afford.
But are you going to compare plastic surgery to a kid
no.
See?
I'm not talking about life threatening is different. Hard life.
What about someone who can't see?
Hard life, life threatening, two different things.
So you think if you're okay if a company says, yeah, we have a treatment that can save however many people, maybe 100, 2,000 people on the planet, I don't know, right?
Save them.
Save them in terms of living a life that they want to, right? Like people who can't, who have a genetic abnormality, which makes them not be able to see. You think it's completely acceptable to say, not legally, I'm thinking ethically, I'm thinking what would be good for the race.
I know what you're saying.
In terms of not advancing beyond what our mean or median abilities are, but just allowing people to come up to the middle.
So my thing would be, where's the moral level for the person who created this thing?
What do you mean?
You're forcing them to sell it at a certain point.
I'm not lobbying for there to be regulation.
Who would pay for it?
I'm saying the price should be less
But how?
Because it's been in that documentary, at least.
The person who created that capsule
Yeah.
will go, I want to sell it for this much, and
I understand that. Again, I'm not saying they broke any laws. I'm not saying they should go to jail for what they're doing. I'm saying that is so unethical.
Yeah, I'm not asking how would you make it lower.
You would just make the price lower.
Who?
The people who are selling it, the people who have invented it. I'm just saying, like, if it's like it's almost $1 million for this surgery to help people who are born blind be able to see again, right? And you're saying, I want to charge not based on research and development, because again, a lot of that is funded by taxpayer money, right? So like basically these pharmaceutical companies are making, their margins are like 10,000% or some shit like that, because it's funded by public agencies, the NIH. I don't know if I'm sure not everything is like that. I'm sure just certain things are like that. But if that is the case, if you're funded by taxpayer money from an organization that divvies out money for research advancement, and you're a company who can now just sell it at a profit, and you would have, like, to me, you owe it to the people who have funded your shit.
Is laser eye surgery covered?
No, but it's affordable.
But it's only affordable because people have decided to pay that much.
Right, I understand that, but I'm saying that makes sense.
But nobody forced that price onto those people. At first, it was like $20,000 an eye, and then what happened was people stopped doing it. They're like, we're not going to pay that much. So eventually, the price went down to whatever. It's $700 an eye now.
Okay.
So that's what would happen with this genetic surgery.
Okay, that'd be fantastic.
But what I'm saying is, you can't force them. It has to happen naturally. It has to.
I'm not trying to say. I'm not trying to force them or put any sort of. I don't think that's necessarily.
Yeah,
right.
You're just saying you would like for it to cost less.
I'm just making a comment on the fact that this is the case. It's, again, they're not saying we need to make a 50% margin because it's not worth it to us. You know, they're basically paying little to no money to do this research, and as a result, they're paying not just expensive. To me, like, you're asking, most people in the world make what, 50 grand a year in the West, right? Like, you're asking someone to pay 16 times their yearly salary for one thing, and then it's something that might be priced. This is the thing. It probably would be something people would do because they feel like they want to give their kids the gift of sight. I will drain my savings, sell my house, do anything I can to give it to them. Right? That's fine, great. But now you've just created you've bankrupted the person just to get eyesight, right? So it's just, again, I'm not saying that you should force them to do that, because
it would be nicer if that's the case. It would be nicer, but it wouldn't be more fair.
I think it would be much fairer. I think it's unfair.
But how's it fair? Again, the only way you're going to get it is either A, the government forces these whatever doctors to sell it at a certain price, or B, you have it so eventually through capitalism and in an open market, these doctors lower their prices.
Sure.
Those are your two options.
I mean, I get that. That's fine. If it's just, again, if it's like we need it, if it's something that you need to say, I need to make it this much, because if we don't, there's literally no point in my company. It's not worth my company's time to create. I get that. My whole thing is, like, this is through and through pure evil greed, right? There's no, like, yeah, but like, it's,
but
like,
why does it have to be evil for somebody to expect a certain amount of money?
I'm not saying the people are evil. I'm saying the act it's an evil act to say. It's like,
I don't think so. I think choosing a price something's worth doesn't have to necessarily, because there's monetary value.
If you're making a car, you can make it $5 trillion for all I care.
Yeah.
No, again, it's not creating lives that make people's lives worth living. You know what I mean? Like,
but why should I care?
I mean, you can say that. That's fine. You don't.
No,
You
I know,
don't. You don't
but,
feel
like-
any. You don't. That, like when you hear that, that doesn't make you go, "Wow, that's greasy. That is so.
Mm-hmm.
That's just slimy." Like how can you? How can you do that to people? Like don't you want? Don't you want the world to somehow be
No, I
better?
agree with you. I think I would like it more for the prices to be lower.
Right.
Something
Something
but I
reasonable,
also
50
don't.
grand,
But
100
I
grand.
also don't feel like I have the right to tell somebody how much they should
Again, no, I'm not
sell
saying.
something.
I'm not saying.
I know. But I'm agreeing with you.
You're not. You. So even in conversation and even in opinion, you don't feel.
I
like,
would like the prices to be more affordable for people, just like you.
I would.
But you also wouldn't force them down the prices.
No,
Same like me.
I understand that,
Okay, then.
but it's like I don't think it's okay. I think it's legal. I think at most
Mm-hmm.
it's legal. They're not breaking any laws, but if laws were based on how
Well, what is legal? It's
you made the shit, you can sell it for how much you want.
yeah, it's fair because it's fair on both sides. It's fair for the person who created it because they can they're in possession of how much they want to sell it for. And it's also fair for the person who wants to buy because it's available for them to buy.
Right. At the cost of what though? Like if it's like
If it's too high, then he doesn't make this not he, but this person, the rich person, doesn't sell. It's that simple.
I understand that, but that it's clearly not something that
That's why life threatening.
right.
You
But,
pay
but,
for
but see,
it.
the problem is that people are buying them, right? Like you're
Mm-hmm.
seeing people effectively become bankrupt
Mm-hmm.
and in debt hundreds of thousands of dollars just to do this, right? If you're seeing this, and I understand your goal is to
So do you think making maximum profit is evil?
maximum profit, sure, not infinite profit.
Oh, so what you're getting at is because it directly affects human beings' lives. That
It's like do you think it's okay for people to do things at the cost of people's ability to just live a decent life? You know what I mean? Like
Okay.
you're
I'm
basically
getting what
saying,
you're saying.
I'm trading. You're gonna and I'm not, again, I want to reiterate, I'm not saying that I would force people and that like there should be laws in place. I'm just saying, as a human being, as a person of this planet, right? And we're getting into hippy dippy shit. That's fine. If as a person of just planet Earth and you living here and you just having some form of empathy for the people around you, and you have this thing in your hand that can enhance the lives of so many people, especially little children.
Oh, so you're expecting somebody to be a hero?
I'm not saying hero, just fair. A hero would give it for free. I'm not saying.
So you're saying the fairest would be you have to find the monetary value, and then what percent of profit is okay?
I'm not. I don't. Why?
No, because you have to find out how much it takes to make it. So let's say it's $100.
Again, like I said before, right? If you're covering your margins, if you're saying that,
yeah. So let's say it takes $100 to make it,
yeah.
and they're charging. So what's too much? Is a million's unfair
From $100.
from $100? Yeah, right.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm asking you.
Yeah, I would say so.
100,000. Is that unfair?
What is this item though? Is it?
It's Billy's eyesight, all right? It's funny because your name's Billy. But it shows the kids. It's John's eyesight. He's 80% blind.
Okay.
Okay, he could take this thing.
So it was made for $100.
Yeah, it took $100 to make that.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
But this product can now make
He's
this
selling
person
it.
see.
Yes, and he's selling it for $1 million. That's unfair.
Yeah.
100,000.
I would say anything over maybe twice the amount, even
Twice the amount.
Three. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so you think anything over 100% profit is too greedy
Again, listen. If you're
when it comes to human lives, benefiting human lives.
Yeah.
You think anything over 100% is
well, I don't know how you're trying to get me. I'm trying to get me to commit. I'm saying in this situation when
Maybe
it's,
you're trying to commit.
you're trying to say like, oh, if you do this, then this is exactly what you mean.
I'm trying to get to the
Okay,
bottom of your reason.
Then use a better number than $100. Use a realistic, because if you're saying it can clear someone's eyesight, right?
But $100 is the easiest. Okay, $100 is the easiest form of doing it because 100% of $100 is 100.
Right.
Okay, and then I can just add a zero and
Right,
count
but
back
it's
down.
difficult to put my mind in the space of how much I think something should cost based on $100 for a life. If it's a life,
I mean, I don't know how much.
Okay.
How much does it cost to develop
let's say
a medicine?
I don't know, like I'm just
Couple of $1 million?
Then use something smaller than eyesight. Use like get a finger back.
Yeah, no, but here's
prosthetic finger.
okay. Now we're talking about levels of value because eyesight's at the top. Because being blind, saying you're being blind, I mean, being able to see when you're blind is almost a necessity, but it isn't a necessity. That's why it's on that one side of the hemp.
It's not. It's a necessity, but it's not something you can.
No, it's not a necessity because you're not going to die from it. So it's not a necessity.
I guess. Okay, fine.
So it's on this side of the hump, right? That's what I was trying to get at. From like 1 to 10. 10 being you're going to die tomorrow, and 1 being because you want to look like that, right? Getting your eyesight back is like a 4.5 or 4.9.
No, it's not.
Hear me out. And then, is 4.9, and then like cosmetic surgery would be like a 2. Okay, that's why it's not covered under life and death, right? Because you don't.
I don't agree that it would be 4. I'd be something like an 8.
So then,
not seeing is probably a very significant thing in hindering your life, your ability. to
but
live.
there's also you're gonna die in 10 years. You're gonna die in 5 years. You're gonna die in 1 year. You're dying next month.
So it's okay.
You understand what I mean?
Sure.
You're not gonna die from being blind, but it's the closest thing to a necessity.
Okay.
That isn't a necessity.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So my line is that, right? Your line is one step over, because you don't think getting a finger back should be the same way, right?
It's just you think a finger is equivalent to getting your eyesight back?
No, the eyesight is valued way more.
So what would be like? So okay, so
you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. This is weird conversation, weird, and I'm saying difficult. But then because there's so many facets. That's not even just linear. It's also diagonal.
But don't you think like sometimes there's things in life in terms of suffering that's worse than death? So I don't think death can be the be all end all. Like
I think
extreme.
So. When you're talking about medical situations.
I mean, if you're living with like constant pain, where you feel like you're gonna explode every moment of every day.
Yeah, but unbelievable pain is a necessity. Getting rid of unbelievable pain is a necessity.
Why? But you're not gonna die.
I understand that, but I'm saying pain, unbelievable pain would be a 9 out of 10.
But why is someone's like? But there's a pain in not being able to see.
I understand that.
So I don't
think that's the same as agonizing pain where you literally faint because you're in that much pain.
Okay,
that's what I mean. You know what I mean? And then that scales down.
I think you're underestimating how terrible it would be not to be able to see. Like it's just being part of a human being.
How's this? Ready?
Things.
There are how many people who are blind and live outside of a hospital? How many people who are in unbelievable pain, for example, are not in hospital? They're all in hospital and they're all on heavy painkillers. You know what I'm saying? Like you can live a normal life fully blind.
Right. I mean, you can live a life with pain. Like pain meds are not that expensive, really. Like you can get like it's what, a few $100. Like that's easy to take care of. If that's a 9, then eyesight's at 4.9. That shouldn't be anywhere near as much.
I think it would have to be one of those things where, you would have to specifically, I don't know, you would have to be in enough pain, I guess, mentally.
Again, dude, I'm not saying like,
because I guess there's the whole mental facet of pain that goes on that scale, that has to be involved in that scale, right?
Sure. I mean, again, I don't know. I don't know how we got to that. My whole thing was like,
don't worry, you're listening to it back and you'll be like, oh, okay, I get it.
I know, but it's like I don't. Do you not get what I'm saying? Do you not? No, you don't feel like
I 100% get what you're saying.
Right. I don't know. I'm just making. I'm more.
You're just saying. You're making a statement. You're saying it would be. I think it would be better if the prices were lower, so more people could use it.
Right.
That's your statement, and I agree. But then I'm saying to expand on your original, because all we've been doing for the last fucking 40 minutes now has been expanding on your first statement. That statement.
That'll be the whole thing.
I understand that. Would be that it's not a simple question and answer, as in should it, would I want it to, because there's the whole idea of the person who created it. And the price, it would be nice, I agree, it would be nice for it to be cheaper for people. But to have that happen, it has to happen naturally through people's...
Okay, sure.
That's what I'm saying.
That's fair. The bottom line is I think the price should be lower because if it's a new car or if it's the new technology, like a new phone or like some new cool shit.
We already agree. We said that we would agree
Yeah,
that
like,
we think it should be lower, but we also don't think that we should force anybody to.
I don't think I support. I think the guy who is making that ultimate decision is like Jesus,
Yeah,
man.
and you're saying that dude is shitty for making
He's
a
a
super
fucking
question.
shit guy. Yeah.
And I would say yes, that person is greedy.
So we agree.
The person is greedy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing what he's doing is legal. Again, you think it might be.
I don't
fair.
think you're saying yes.
I don't think it's fair.
I think it's fair but greedy.
I think I
don't think it's mutually exclusive.
But dude, can you be fair and greedy at the same
100%
time?
you can.
You think you can be fair?
Yeah, because something can be fair.
But if someone goes to you,
and you just take advantage of that.
I'm going to pay that. That's a fair price.
Yes.
They don't say that's a price that is worth it's fair.
No, but I'm not talking about the price being fair to the one person's perspective. I'm talking about it looking at both people's perspective and having it fair across the board, not because this person is
so the person on the side that's making the price, their perspective that is considered
fair to them
is saying,
because it's my thing.
I want it to be this much because I want to make this much money. Not because
Yes.
not because this is what
I should be in control of how much I'm selling my thing for. That's what it is. Why? Who are you to tell me how much I should sell my price, my shit?
I'm not.
That's what what I'm getting at.
As a human being, right, be living in a world with other human beings, I think I do have the right to comment, not force anybody to comment.
Yes, I agree.
And tell you and say to the world that what you're doing is inhuman. It's not something that a human being should do.
I don't think it's that far.
Maybe it's not inhuman because
I think it's just. I just think it's greedy.
I think it's greedy. Again, when you say it's fair, to me, fair doesn't mean necessarily we exercise the fullest amount of our power.
The rule is fair. The ability to take advantage of that rule is not fair. But the rule itself is fair. The person it can agree to the person who owns the thing decides how much it costs, and the person who's buying it can also confirms with how much it costs. That's the whole point.
But again, I think that's what legality is based on, right? But for the most part, you would assume that the law is based on not what is necessarily kind, right, to people. What is compassionate? Like many of the laws that are being made now are being towards.
I would say it's lawful neutral.
I don't know.
Like lawful, it's fair.
Yeah.
But it's neutral. It's not a good thing.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, for sure. Right. So it's like
it's not good.
You're saying
once it's greedy, but I don't think it's evil.
You can't say because the laws can't be, you should. This is what this is what you can do, but not if it's this much. That's kind of shitty. You know what I mean? Like that can't be the stipulation in the law. Law should be black and white. Right?
I think what would make it evil is if somebody created it, and then somebody else was forcing that person to sell at a certain price. I think that would be evil.
You know what? I don't think I would have a problem with the fact, like, if there was a law that says, again, maybe there's a gray area. What I was gonna say was, like, if there's a law that says, like, some kind of clause in a law, like the law of whatever the law would be, consumer laws. If it's for the betterment of humanity or if it's for the health of human beings, there should be like kind of a limit, but maybe that can get into gray areas. But
that's what I'm talking about. What constitutes that as a necessity, and that's why I think life and death is an easy line to go to.
Yeah, that's fair. Again,
then you kind of give a little
in terms of the law. I don't think it's fair. It's the same way when you talk about free speech laws, right?
Yeah.
And allowing certain people to say certain things. I agree. I think most of the things that people say that are considered bad are bad. And like, if you're going to say racist things or whatever, that's awful. But you shouldn't be forced to not be able to say them.
Like low key, not even low key, high key, whatever sort of way of speaking. People who are racist are actually retarded.
Wow.
Like actually,
that sentence right there was such a conflated
sentence. I don't care. Like, you have to be some sort of slow. Some sort. Either that or completely ignorant.
Yeah. But
it has to be
that's what I mean. So
either
I think
or.
It's not. I don't think fairness would count in this type of situation, right? I don't think fairness should apply necessarily to freedom of speech. But I think everyone agrees that is a bad thing to happen in the world.
But my thing is, you're able to. But it's the same thing. We can connect it back to this surgery thing.
Yeah.
You can say whatever you want, but we can still agree that it's bad.
Right.
Yes.
100%. Right. But again, that's the point. So like, you can, if you
So you can sell whatever you want.
Sell whatever price.
You can still say it's overpriced.
You're like essentially you could do that, but you'll go down in the history as
yes,
probably
that's like
terrible
saying
human being.
free speech is evil because people can say evil things with free speech. That's what I'm getting. That's what I'm saying. It's neutral.
Yes.
The law itself is neutral, but people can take advantage of it, just like how people can be.
That
right. Exactly. There you go. That's what I was getting at. The whole point.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Yeah.
Cool.
That makes sense.
All right. That's so nice.
We actually came to a resolution.
Yeah,
it
feels so good. It's when you feel heard and you feel like the other person, that you conveyed to the other person that you understood what they said.
Yeah,
and it kind of goes, even though it was like this, it kind of like, oh no, but it's like that.
You've reached. You're again. It's
even though you were kind of like, I don't know, man.
Because I think it's like when we say, I think I still disagree with you in the fact that like maybe fair is the wrong word to use for what someone is doing with the money.
Why?
Right? I think it's
just like the First Amendment, or for example, the freedom of speech.
Let's look up the definition of fair. Marked impartially and honestly from self-interest, prejudice, and favoritism. Kind of, see, like self-interest does kind of apply. Right? If you like that guy's...
The idea is one person selling something, another person is buying that. Nobody's forcing that person to sell it, and nobody's forcing that person to buy it.
Right. No, I understand that, but I think
fair.
it's like I think if you again, if we want to talk semantics, we're just saying.
Yeah.
If you want to marked by impartiality and honesty, free from self-interest. That's where I mean maybe a very fair a very fair person to do business with. Right? Conforming with the established rules allowed. Weird.
I don't think... Are we talking about the act, or we're talking about the law? The rule and the act is different.
The law,
right?
Again, I don't... Sometimes, like, remember how people say life isn't fair? Just the way it's kind of... It's like... I don't think the law is... It's I guess, yeah, maybe in that sense, the law is fair because... But... I think the law is what it is because it's black and white, because there's no personal interpretation. There at least shouldn't be personal interpretation of the law. There should be, if you do this, these are the consequences, and you can't be like, yeah, but, or but if you're shitty, then
but how can you change? You can't change that law and make it more fair. You're always going to make it less fair, because the only way you're going to change that law to make it so it's less of a price is to force somebody to sell at a certain price. Now that becomes less fair.
How about this? I don't think the laws necessarily need to be fair. They need to be just.
Well, fair and just, same. I think it's unjust to force somebody to sell something that's theirs.
Unjust.
Sorry, unjust. Yeah, unjust. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I don't know. I don't think it's. I think it. Yes.
And the perfect conclusion was the free speech. It's that the law would be like a free speech law.
Yeah. I think it's unjust to make someone do something. I don't think it's. I don't think it's unfair. I don't know. Maybe it's just the way.
Just and fair. I'm using it interchangeably in the situation.
Fair synonyms. Let's go. If just is here, I'll.
Just is the first one.
Damn. Okay. Fair enough.
Bitch.
But I mean, then again,
it's literally the first one.
Sometimes
it's got hey. Literally the first one.
Impartial, unbiased, unprejudiced, nonpartisan, non-discriminatory, honorable. That's not honorable.
Come on.
There we go. We go.
No.
See, yeah. But again, sometimes synonyms can mean like the same general thing, but in certain situations they don't apply. So maybe just and fair are the same things, but in certain situations they don't always apply. Like you wouldn't use honorable.
And in this situation, like to me, they apply.
The law isn't honorable. Let's say that.
Yeah, it is, because it holds up everybody to it. That's why it's honorable. They state that everybody follows these things, and that's how we enforce it. Now, are you going to get into, but sometimes people get away with stuff, blah, blah, blah. That's what individuals, that's not the law.
I don't know, man. Okay? I wouldn't say something.
But that's, again, the law itself is just.
Okay.
But the people who are involved with it aren't. And that's the same thing with selling stuff.
Maybe let's say the law is fair. The law
fair and just.
May be
the
fair
people
and
involved
just,
aren't.
But the people who are
perfect, yes.
People can exercise the law and manipulate the law to their favor to be unfair.
Of course you can.
Sure. Okay.
Of course you can. Just like the freedom of speech.
Maybe the law, I'm all for what the law would be. analogy, like that makes
Yeah,
sense.
sick.
It's just the guy himself.
Oh, he's a dickhead.
He's an unfair,
Yes.
dishonorable,
Yes.
dishonest.
Yes. Now, by all means,
completely partial,
not by all
completely
means.
biased, completely prejudiced, and
Okay, stop fucking reading the words, okay? Listen, by all means, this is the case. I could have changed. By all means, I could have changed my mind already. Like from what I was saying before, I could have. I can't really pinpoint where we started off. I'm gonna be completely honest.
genetic engineering.
No, not that point. I'm talking about when we clicked it into high gear. I can't remember if I was saying the same thing then that I am now, but I think I was. And if I was, good on me.
It took our minds took a path and it met at a very similar.
And then you tried to veer away at the last second. I said, "No, bitch, we're back in this car."
Yeah, you're a piece of shit.
No.
All right,
How's that, man?
about over an hour.
Damn.
Good way to end it.